core durable goods. Right, we had core durable goods. We also have durable goods order. We had Richmond Manufacturing Index. We had consumer confidence, and then we had new home sales. All those came out on the USD, on the dollar, right? So, and you could see that for the Canadian, they didn't have a good run yesterday. We had about three high impact news. Yeah, we had one came out neutral, right? Two came out negative. Those for the high impact news. We had three high impact news, one medium impact news. So one came out neutral, two came out negative, and then the medium impact news also came out negative. So that would have amounted to the Canadian dollar actually losing strength, right? That would have amounted to the Canadian dollar actually losing strength. And then for the dollar, for the US dollar, the US dollar actually had a little bit of a boost because we had a couple of medium impact news which came out positive. The core durable goods came out positive, durable goods came out positive. Richmond Manufacturing Index also came out positive. Then we also have consumer sentiment, which was a high impact news that came out positive, and then new home sales. All this news on the dollar actually came out positive. So that would have amounted to the dollar and dollar index actually pushing up for yesterday, right? So for today, we already missed out on the Australian dollar CPI, right? On the Australian dollar, they had their CPI, and that was around 2:30 a.m. I think a vast majority of us were still in bed as at then. So 2:30 a.m. we had a negative. The news actually came out negative for the AUD. So today we might also be expecting a weak Australian dollar. Today we'll be expecting a weak Australian dollar. But by 2:30 p.m., right? That's 2:30 p.m. today. We'll be expecting a speech. So most of the news we are having today are speech, right? They are speech. So they are not data news where you have either you could just glance at it on first factor and see if it is positive or negative. And one thing about speech, if they are hawkish, right? If they are hawkish and they have very high impact, right? You get a lot of volatility. But the thing is, for most of this speech, you need to now go and listen, most likely listen to what the speakers are saying and then decipher how it would affect the economy, right? But over time, what traders do is they just wait for the news to start and then they follow the reaction on the chart, right? So they follow the reaction on the chart. So depending on what the speaker is saying, if the speaker is coming out and his sentiment around the market is not really hawkish, if he's having a dovish sentiment whereby what he's saying wouldn't be affecting the economy so much, then you wouldn't be getting a lot of volatility on the market, right? So, but if they are making major policy change, right, there is major policy change, there is hike in interest rate, there is change in government or something, right? If it is a major policy change, definitely you should get high impact news, either positive or negative, right? You should get you should get high volatility, either positive or negative. So it should either be going way in favor of that currency or way against the currency. But in a situation where you have a dovish news, whereby the speaker comes and is not really giving is not really giving a clear stand as to what the economy will be doing at the moment, or is giving more of how will I put it? It's not straightforward. Let me just put it in that way. It's not being straightforward as to what the economy is doing and what the state of the economy is. Then that's more of a dovish stand, and that might not really have a lot of volatility in the market, right? So we have those news coming out on the Eurozone, and will I say fortunately or unfortunately, most of those news are coming out mostly around the same time. So unfortunately, because you would want to have to keep track of all the charts almost at once, right? But fortunately, is that you're going to have a vast option to actually trade on today around that time. So, and because because their speech, right? The sentiment from the speech actually starts up way before the speech starts. So you get positive sentiment or negative sentiment pending on before that news actually starts up. So we have that on the Eurozone. The ECB president, that's the European Central Bank president, will be speaking. That's Lagarde will be speaking. We also have the Bank of England governor Bailey will be speaking, right? We have Bank of Japan governor Uday will be speaking, and then we have the Fed chair Powell will be speaking for the US. So these are mostly statements to decipher what's going on in the economy. Most economies have been having hike in interest rate as a result of inflation worries and everything that they've been facing. And then, especially in the US, where they are looking at possible recession if they are not able to curb inflation crisis, right? So they are looking at all of this, and then because of all the hike in interest rates and most of the policies they've actually put in place to ensure that interest rate inflation doesn't catch up with their economy, right? They are now giving a review. Okay, all these policies that we've implemented, how does it affect, or how has it affected the economy so far, right? How has it affected this economy so far? So they are coming to give a report, or more like a speech, okay, saying, okay, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this. This is the impact, and this is what we are looking out for. This is our projections, right? So this sentiment will now determine the outturn of traders for the next coming days, right? It will determine the direction at which the traders would, or the sentiment that traders will be making, and decisions traders will be making for the next couple of days, right? So, and lastly, the last medium impact news we'll be having for the day will be Lagarde will be speaking again by 4 p.m., right? He's going to be speaking twice today. So he's going to be speaking again by 4 p.m., right? So, and those are the news we have for today. So instruments we'll be looking out for, instrument around the euro, we'll be looking out for instrument around GBP, we'll be looking out for JPY, we'll also be looking out for the USD, right? We already missed out on the Australian dollar, so we would most likely not. So the Australian dollar is actually going to be weak. So let me give you a clue, right? Let me give you a clue. Right. So for you to make money, especially on the forex market, which is the currency market, right? If you want to make money on the currency market, you're looking at pairing a weak instrument with a strong instrument, ensuring that there is one-sided direction, right? So you're looking at pairing a weak instrument with a strong instrument to get a one-sided direction. So already we know that AUD came out negative, right? So of course AUD is going to be weak. So for me as a trader, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be attacking AUD, right? I'm going to be attacking AUD aggressively because AUD is going to be weak, most likely for the rest of today, because we don't have any impact news coming out on the AUD anymore, right? So most likely AUD is going to be weak for the rest part of the day, and we can confirm that from, let's use our currency strength meter, right? Let's use our currency strength meter from Baby Pips. Currency strength meter from Baby Pips. Let's see what the currency. Yes, you can see AUD. Can you see? Can you confirm? Can you? I believe you can all see my chart though. Yes, you can all see my screen. Yeah, so you can confirm that AUD is actually weak. AUD is actually weak. You could see it at the bottom of the currency strength, and the strongest currency as at now. This is on a I think this is on a 1 hour time frame. Yeah. Okay. This is on a daily time frame, right? So this is my time frame here. This is my time frame here, right? So this website is marketmilk.babypips.com/currency strength meter. This is it here. You could just do a screenshot. You could just do a screenshot of this website so you could check it out yourself, right? So this is on a daily time frame and it is in real time. It's on a daily time frame and it is in real time. It simply means it's giving you the currency strength in real time. It's giving you the currency strength in real time on a daily time frame, right? So you could see AUD down there. Another weak currency you could be targeting is the the New Zealand dollar. The New Zealand dollar is weak. The Australian dollar is weak, and then we have CAD. CAD is a little bit strong, but it's in progression. We have the JPY and the USD almost at par, almost at the same strength. Then we have next the euro, we have the GBP, we have CHF, and then we have CAD. Then the weak ones are AUD and New Zealand dollar. So AUD is weak as a result of the news, like we've seen. So let's go back to let's go to the chart. So like I said, we'll be attacking the Australian dollar, right? Pairing it with stronger currency to ensure that we make money. So the USD just actually overtook the JPY just as we're speaking now. USD just, and then it has switched back. So this is in real time. You get the strength of each currency in real time if you're using this, right? So it would better inform you on how to pair your currencies when you're trading on them. So let's go to the MT4. Let's quickly just dive into the MT4. Let's quickly just dive into the MT4, right? So on the MT4, let's look at our first instrument for the day. Well, we're going to be looking at the likes of, we have news on GBP, we have on USD, we have on CAD, I think, right? So GBP USD, let's see, let's go back to that again. So we have, yes, we have Euro GBP, we have JPY, okay, Euro GBP JPY USD, Euro GBP JPY USD. So we're going to be pairing all those instruments against the CAD. We're going to be pairing all those instruments against the CAD, against the Canadian dollar, to ensure that we have one sided directional market, right? Because we're looking at, we're not in for a ranging market. So pairing those instruments where you have high impact news coming out, right? What if both news are favorable for both economies? What you will be getting is a ranging market, right? So you don't want to take chances, right? You want to ensure that you already know which instrument is weak for the day. All you just need to do is to equally pair them with stronger instruments and take direction in favor of the strong instrument, so that you'd actually make money from the currency market. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. So especially when it comes to fundamental, it's as simple as that, right? So we're looking at the likes of CAD. So let's look at our first instrument. Our first instrument will be GBP CAD. Already you could see that GBP is already winning this market, right? The news came out negative for CAD, and CAD has lost strength. And you could see earlier as of this morning, and even from yesterday, GBP CAD has actually been on a rise. My first instrument is GBP CAD. GBP CAD. So you could see that GBP CAD has actually been on a rise. Currently at this resistance point, you could see GBP CAD currently resting at this resistance point, right? There's been a rejection here before, right? That was around the 22nd of June. And then there's currently another resistance point at this point here. So most likely what will be happening is price breaking above this resistance. My preference for this instrument is actually going to be a buy, because I still expect that positive sentiment around the CAD, around the GBP rather, because of the news coming out, will push this chart up, would continue pushing this chart upward, at least up to the next resistance at the top here. So I'd most likely will be going for, please turn off your video feed, please. When you join in, please turn off your video feed, please, so you don't distract the class, right? So I'm most likely going to be going for a buy, but I wouldn't want to go in for a buy now. I definitely would be going for a buy if price breaks above this resistance point, for me to get a clear buy direction, right? So of course, if price breaks above this resistance, I'll be having a good buy position, right? I'll be having a good buy position. So CAD is the weak currency, and it is the base currency, right? So you are selling off the weak currency, right? So for those that don't understand how currency pair works, because someone is saying, I thought CAD is supposed to be weak. Of course, CAD is weak. That is why you're having a buy on this particular instrument, right? If CAD was strong, the market will be going in favor of the CAD, which is down, right? So you are buying the strong currency and selling off the weak currency. So on an instrument like GBP CAD, you're going to be buying, right? You are buying the GBP and selling off the CAD. So it's a push up, not down, right? If it was in favor of the CAD, you see the chart pushing down. Please understand that that's supposed to be learned in fundamental class, right? This is a technical class that's supposed to learn to be learned at a beginner's class, right? So now already it has been established that we are most likely expecting a buy, but a good entry for a buy wouldn't be to enter now, because price is currently sitting on a resistance point, right? Price is currently sitting at a resistance point. So most likely I want to go in for a buy if price is able to break above my resistance. So a good point for my buy will be at price level 1.68504. So a good price for my buy will be at 1.68504. I'm going for a buy at around that point, and then up until the next resistance at the top here at price level 1.69205, yes, at around that point. So even if you come and price is still in between this region, you could still go in for your buy, right? So you could still go in for a buy. So, and of course, because it's high impact news, right, it can take any turn. But for this morning, I still expect that sentiment, of course, traders, just like every other human being, are highly sentimental, right? So they believe whenever there is a news coming out on a particular instrument, at least, right, they're looking at positive response. Nobody's expecting negative response on or nobody expects negative response, right? So they're expecting positive response on that particular decision, and then it now boils down to when the news comes out, right? When the news comes out, so the speaker would now determine what direction the market is actually now going to be taking, right? Depending on when the news comes out, you're most likely will be getting a buy, right? We'll be getting a buy. So, but by the time the news comes out and it doesn't come out in favor of the GBP, right? I still wouldn't be going in for a sell because, like I said, CAD is weak, right? CAD is weak, and except there is an unplanned event that actually now gives the Canadian dollar a boost, or the GBP goes completely, or the news comes out and it goes completely very, very bad for the GBP, right? That's when you'll be getting a major push down on this particular instrument, right? But in such scenario, what you would be expecting to do is to take a sell, or you could just use most likely a pending order, right? Just to catch in on the sell move, right? If that's going to happen, but my preference is actually going to be a buy. So if at all there's actually going to be a sell on this particular instrument, you would want to go in for a sell at the next up below the next support, right? Below the next support, which is somewhere around 1.67599. So below that point, you could actually go in for a clear sell, right? See how I left the whole of this place, right? I didn't go in for a sell at around this place because, of course, there's what we call retracement, and because price is currently at the resistance point at the top here, there is every possibility price comes, retraces back to this point to gain momentum in order to continue pushing up. So if you're going in for a sell around there, you might just be caught in a crossfire where price actually just comes down here to test here as a retracement before it now starts pushing up. So you would want to do well to ensure that your entry is below. Please turn off your video feed, please, right? So you would want to ensure that your sell, if at all you're going in for a sell, will be below a major support, right? Will be below a major support, and then take your profit just before the next major support, right? But my preference for GBP CAD is a buy, right? Is a buy. Right. So the next instrument we'll be looking out for, another CAD pair. We'll be looking out for another CAD pair. So we have here CAD JPY. Like I said, we have high impact news on JPY also today. We have a speech coming out from their Bank of Japan. Is a speech coming out from the chair of the Bank of Japan. So, and already you've had the market actually range in anticipation of the news, right? You have the market actually range in anticipation of the news, and of course at night we had this major push down, and then contributing to the weakness of the CAD also, we had this push down, right, on CAD JPY. So I'm expecting more of a bearish move on this particular instrument, right? I'm expecting more of a bearish move on this particular instrument. So, and of course, you wouldn't want to be jumping into this thing now. You wouldn't want to, and this is actually a very good trade setup because price is very close to one of the highest points it has been in a while. You've had consistent higher highs on instrument like CAD JPY. You could see drawing my trend line, you could see consistent higher high. This is a clear uptrend, but I think it has gotten to a saturation point at this level now, right? I think it has gotten to a saturation point at this particular level now. So, and of course, when price gets to the highest point on the charts, what you're most likely going to be looking out for, look at this is a resistance point at the top here, right? So most likely what we'll be looking out for from this resistance, if it's not able to, and of course the news is already telling you that sentiment from the news already is telling you that the possibility of it breaking above this resistance is very slim, right? Except by a ton of events, which I don't think I see that happening today, right? So possibility of it breaking above this resistance is unlikely. And I think we are going to be experiencing more of a trend reversal at this particular point in time. So we are going to be expecting more of a trend reversal at this particular point in time. So I'd want to keen for a buy, of course, on this particular, a sell rather. I stand corrected. I want to keen for a sell on this particular instrument. So I'd be going in for a sell. So your entry point now matters. You already know, okay, most likely you'll be going in for a sell, but at what point should you go in for that sell? So I'd want to go in for my sell, of course, if price breaks below this support zone. You could see that this support has been a very tough one for price, right? Yesterday, and it has been tested there twice today. So earlier as of this morning, it was tested here once and then tested here again for the second time. So this is a very good support for price, and you wouldn't want to mess around that point. So you want to be sure that price breaks below that point before going in for a clear cut direction, right? Before going for a clear cut sell. So let me zoom in a little bit so you could get yeah. So look at this. This is rejection 1, this is rejection 2, and this is rejection 3, right? So, and this just happened within, these 2 rejection happened within the space of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, right? Within the space of yeah, most likely 6 hours, because this is only, yeah, on a 1 hour time frame. So I'd want to go in for a sell once price is able to break completely below here. And even I didn't want to stretch it if price is able to break below my trend line, because if you notice, aside this support, there's a very weak support around here which price tested just once. So I'd want to just stay off this particular region entirely. I want to stay off this particular region entirely. And let's also be wary of the spread on an instrument like CAD JPY. Let's look at it. Is it looking at it, adding our axe line? Yes, show axe line, and you can see. So it's a very good instrument with very low spread, right? So you could actually make quite a lot from it, since you wouldn't be paying so much on spread. So of course, I want to go totally below the trend line this time, totally below the second support zone. So it's a clear one for me. Once price is able to break below 108.65, right? I expect that should happen as a result of the news, right? So once price is able to break below 108.65, well, 108.654. 108.654. Once price is able to break below this point, I'll go in for a clear sell, right, down to the next support zone, right? And if the volatility of the news still keeps pushing it, I can ride I could ride that momentum all the way down, right, to take full advantage of the market, right? So what I don't even advise is you could just put in your sell entry and leave your take profit open and use trailing stop to trail your profit, right? You could do it like that, or maybe you pick a take profit point just before the next support at around this point, Then most likely, of course, if there is a turn in direction on the market, if the news comes out and it's not in favor of the JPY, of course you want to cut out your trade early enough at the resistance point at the top here, right, at somewhat around 109.340, right? You just want to cut out your losses and then move on to the next profitable instrument, right? But my preference, regardless of the fact that the market is actually buying now, my preference on this particular instrument is going to be a sell in favor of the JPY, right? So that being said, let's look at USD. Let's look at another card pair. Like I said, we are pairing card pair. We are pairing the card against instruments that have high impact news coming out today to get a better and a clear cut direction. So we've looked at CAD JPY. We've also looked at, let's see, we've looked at CAD JPY. We've also looked at GBP card. So let's look at another card pair. Card pair. So we also have news coming out on Euro. So Euro card should be another instrument of preference. Euro card should also be another instrument of preference, right? Euro card should also be another instrument of preference. Let me make this my regular. So I'm using MT5 in case you're wondering. I'm using MT5. So for Euro card, we've actually had that major push up. Let's add our period separator. So for this morning, we had a little bit of a major push up, though the effect on Euro card, the effect of the weakness of the card didn't really play out so much on an instrument like Euro card, because I think Euro on its own is not been doing so well. If you check the currency strength meter, right, Euro on its own is not really up there in terms of strength. Right, so you still expect that this particular chart will still struggle a bit to push up. This particular chart will still struggle a bit to push up. Right, so but I still expect that the sentiment, and of course we have two news coming out on the euro today. We have two news coming out on the euro today, so that should still give a good ground for the euro to actually buy against the card for today. So I'm going to be looking out for a buy on euro card also once price is able to break, and you can see that there's a notable resistance at the top here. I think that's why price is actually struggling to go above. You see, we had that little bit of a buy run in the morning. It got to this resistance point and it was rejected, and that resistance seems to be a very a strong one for price. Right, so we have this resistance at this point, and then we have another resistance at the top here. Right, please turn off your video feed, please. When you join in, please turn off your video feed. Right, so we have another resistance at the top here. So I'm looking at price breaking above this resistance, right? Price breaking above this resistance, going up to the next resistance at the top. So that will be roughly around, because it's looking very small in terms of profit in pip. So these are about 20 pips. These are about 20 pip on an instrument like Euro card. It might not be so much if you're using a small lot size. If you're using 0.01, you most likely will not be making a good deal on this particular trade. So of course, because it's going to be most likely a short trade, I'd expect that you use a good lot size to pick this one. I expect to use a very good lot size to pick this one. And so I'm going to ride on the fact that price is actually going to follow my trend line, come back, test my trend line, and then start pushing up into a buy, right? So I'll be going in from a buy at price level. I'll be going in for a buy at price level 1.44798. I'll be going in for a buy at around that point, taking my profit just at the next resistance around 1.45004, just around that point there, right? So that will be a good entry for you to enter your buy, right? You wouldn't just want to key into your buy now. And for those also looking out for a sell, I wouldn't advise you going for a sell until after the news. The effect of the news will determine if the market is going to sell, because that will determine if the euro is actually going to gain strength or lose strength. But of course, I told you, sentiment before the news is always most likely going to be a positive one, pushing price up in favor of the euro, right? So if at all you're going to consider a sell, that should be after the news, right? After the news, and then you'll be looking out for a sell, of course, at your next notable support. After your next notable support at around 1.44 566, 1.44566. So I'd be looking out for a sell at around that point. Then you pick your next your take profit of preference, which will be at the next support zone. Which in this case, the next support zone is somewhere around here. We have a resistance which became a turncoat support at around here, right? So this would be my entry. That would be, but I'll be considering, like I said, I'll be considering a sell after the news, because after the news, you now get a clear-cut direction, which is no longer pushed by sentiment, but rather it's now been as a result of what the news has actually said, right? So that's for Euro card for today. That's for Euro card for today. So we're going to look at we don't have any news on the AUD, so I'm most likely going to be skipping AUD card. So let's look out for USD card. We've not looked at USD card. We've not looked at USD card. We've looked at GBP USD, card JPY. We've looked at Euro card. We've looked at okay, let's look at USD card. Let me see, do I have that chart opened up? Okay, so we have USD card at this point here. So USD card also, same sentiment around it. The USD has been gaining more momentum ever since the card came out, and it came out negative early hours of the morning. So I still expect that strength to continue. I think the major reason why this push up didn't still continue is still because of this resistance point. So if you notice, most of the charts that we've opened so far are either around the resistance point, right, or very close to. They are majorly around the resistance point. So definitely, I'm still expecting a further push up for an instrument like the USD card, right? So I'm expecting that the US dollar is actually still going to gain more strength, especially when their Fed Reserve comes out to give his speech, right? Especially because, like I said, I was explaining what this most of those speech is going to be about. They've been further increase in interest rates over time. And I think since the beginning of the year, they've been talking about increase in interest rates. And now it's a time for them to review to see what the effect of those increase in interest rate has done to the economy. Is it been positive? Has it actually helped in curbing the inflation that they've been going through? And is there going to is there possible solution to the recession that is abound the US economy at this particular moment? So but the US wants to know about that, and of course that would further influence traders' decisions in the market. So you most likely will be getting more of a push up. So like I said, sentiment around that would most likely be positive, depending on when the news comes out. So of course, I still want to stick my neck for a buy, but a good buy entry, you could see that there's a whole lot of fake out on this particular instrument. You get fake out at around here where price came above this point and then it's quickly retraced back in. So I want to go above my fake outs so that I don't get caught in the crossfire, right? I want to go above my fake out at around this. So a good entry will be at above here. So a good entry for my buy will be if price goes above 1.32332, right? I'd want to go in for a buy at around that point and take my profit way above 1.32611. So I take my profit at around that point. Or you could extend it because it's high impact news and there is possibility for price to still keep pushing way above or way beyond that particular price level, right? There's possibility for the dollar to keep pushing way beyond that price level, right? So I'd want to just stick in my neck for a buy. So I'm most likely not going to be going in for any sell position on USD card for this morning, right? I'm most like, despite the fact that the market is selling now, yes, the market is currently retracing off a support, off a resistance point. I get that, but of course, you know that anytime for every time, fundamental trumps technical analysis every time, right? Fundamental trumps technical analysis. So, and you wouldn't want to be sorry, you wouldn't, because this is a currency. Currencies aren't as volatile as in the indices where you have more of a quick move where you're able to where you're able to make money from both direction at once. So you want to be sure that for every direction you're taking it at 100%, right? You're taking that at 100% clarity. So going in for a sell, even if you're considering a sell, you should also note that at this point in time, yeah, price is also on a support zone. So what's the possibility that the price is actually going to break this support zone when there is no news coming out on the Canadian dollar, right? There's no news coming out on the Canadian dollar, and the one that came out early in the morning came out negative. So there is possibly no push towards the Canadian dollar at this particular point in time. So I definitely wouldn't want to stick my neck out for a sell this morning so that I don't get caught in a crossfire. So I most likely be considering a buy on USD card at this price region that I've stated out, right? So that's for USD card. So let's look at another card. I think we've paired the card with every other high impact currency coming out for today, right? We've done a good one to pair the card against every other high impact currency coming out today. At least that should give us clear cut direction. So now let's look into other things. Let's look at oil. Oil is oil is also a petrochemical. Oil is more like it has a correlation with card to some extent, right? Oil has correlation to cards to some extent. I think I was talking to a couple of friends, my group of friends, which we all analyze this market together. And, you know, there've been sentiment around the oil. The oil market is highly political. That's why sometimes before I trade oil, I try to get my facts right before I put my hand into the oil market, because oil market is a very, very, very political market. You have a whole lot of part also from the US government, and then you have part also from OPEC. You know, everybody is just trying to control the narrative of oil prices as as regards how it actually suits their own economy. You have Saudi Arabia, which is one of the highest producers of oil, coming out to drop production, right, in order to increase prices. You know, when you're dropping production, it simply means there will be a little bit of scarcity, and scarcity is good for price. Scarcity pushes up price. And then you have the US government coming to say, okay, we are going to ensure that we peg price at a particular figure. So now the US government is trying to peg price at I think at $100 per barrel, so that no matter what OPEC does, the price of oil doesn't go above $100 per barrel. And so far so good. It's been working, right? Because since the COVID-19, where price went way all the way to above $100, even reaching the marks of 100. And I think this is high point here. Look at this high point here. So price went as high as $131 per barrel. I think even higher than that if I'm to shrink the chart. So what the US is trying to accomplish now is that the oil price doesn't go above $100 per barrel, right? And of course, OPEC, which is a organization of petroleum exporting countries, I think that wouldn't be so good for their own economy, because they need the cash inflow. And from time to time, they try to control the narrative by cutting down supply. They cut down supply and all of that. And also, we have this with the Russia. Russia had this new adversary. I think that actually had to be a political tussle. I've forgotten the name of this new group that had this conflict with Russia of recent, not despite the fact that Russia is still at war with Ukraine. This was at the top of my head just a few minutes ago. I don't know why I forgot it, but when I remember the name of the group, or if anybody can help me with the name of the group on the chat session, I'd appreciate that. It was just at the top of my head. So this group actually came and they had this bombing of some of the Russian troops, and it actually led to disrupting in supply chain, right? So when there's Russia also is one of the major exporting countries for oil too, right? Despite the ban on them, despite the ban, most of the oil, some of the like China, like like China and some other countries, most of the oil they use is still Russian oil. So what they do is China buys from Russia and then they still sell it out. So we still use Russian oil despite the sanction, right? Despite the sanctions, we still use Russian oil. So it's just China just coming to just serve as a middleman. So they buy from Russia, they add their own little gains on it, and then they sell out to the rest of the world, right? So because China is not being banned from selling oil, it's just Russia. So currently you have more of a ranging market, and when it comes to ranging market, whenever you see ranging market like this, you're most likely going to be expecting a breakout. And the best thing you could actually trade in the market is a breakout, because when you get a breakout, you have more of a clear-cut direction as to where price is headed, right? I love trading breakouts because it's more of a clear-cut direction. It's only that the only thing about breakout is when you're trading breakout, you're expecting to wait a bit for the breakout. So you need to wait to get what direction the market will be breaking towards. So price ranged around $78.22 to $71.49. So price ranged at around that point. So I'd most likely will be expecting a breakout for a long-term trade. This is on a daily time frame. For a long-term trade, I'd most likely will be expecting a breakout. So, but let's go to a 1 hour time frame to see if we could get good entries in between the day. Right, good entries in between the day. So despite the fact that price is ranging in between these points, I most likely will still be looking out for a buy. I'll be looking out for a buy on oil, looking at it technically. I'll most likely be looking out for a buy on oil, because price is currently being pushed from a support zone at around here. So this is a good support. And from the law of demand and supply, right? You're looking at buying at a low price and selling at a high price. So price has gotten to a low price, and most likely there will be a lot of buy move from investors around oil. So you'd want to key into that move by taking a buy from this particular standpoint. And if you check the candlestick formation that formed, even most likely yesterday, we had a hammer at a support zone with your bullish confirmation candle, right? So, and of course, that played out into a buy, but it wasn't fully formed. But I still feel this candlestick formation is still in effect. Let me delete this, my trend line. So I still feel this candlestick formation is still in effect. So for those that don't know what a hammer looks like, this is what a hammer looks like, right? A hammer with your bullish confirmation candle, you're most likely going to expect a buy. So it's going to be a more like a climbing buy. It might not be instant, but this buy should still come to play. This buy should still come to play, considering the fact that price is still on a resistance point. So you could go in for an instant buy on oil. You could go in for an instant buy on oil, right? Taking your profit at the next resistance. So this is a very, very strong resistance for price, because price has been ranging at around this point. So you most likely want to bring your take profit below, right, to ensure that you take your profit before price gets to that other notable resistance at around that point. So let me make this green. So yes, so your take profit, you could put your take profit around $77.03 dollar mark at around that point. But going in for an instant buy on oil at this particular thing, at this particular moment, would be a good entry for you. So this is roughly around, for oil, which is a very, very profitable instrument, this is roughly around 45 pip, right? 45, 44 pips or thereabout. So this is actually a good one for oil. So a buy on oil this morning will be a good one. So let's go to US 100. Let's go to US 100. Let's go to US 100 for stocks. Let's go to US 100. Let me take out my Bollinger Bands. So for US 100 also, because we are expecting high impact news on the dollar, the market actually started off on a little bit of a range, right? Expecting the effect of the news to determine where what fate lies for stocks. So most likely you might get a quiet market on stocks until the news comes out. You might get a quiet market. That's just the truth. You might get a quiet market on stocks until the news comes out. Except you are a scalper and you want to go down to a 15 minutes time frame, picking price in between this region. Now this is a 15 minutes time frame. You could pick price in between this time, in between this region. So price hits this resistance, you could go in for a sell, right? So either you're doing this price at this resistance, you're going for a sell, and then you ride it all the way down, and then as soon as it gets here, you pick a buy, and then you ride it all the way up, pending when the news comes out, right? Pending on when the news comes out. So you're doing this, you're riding price on a sell because price is currently at the resistance, and as soon as it gets down to the support, you ride it back up, doing more of something like this. So this move is most likely going to favor scalpers. If you're a scalper and you're looking at entering short burst trade, this move will favor you more, right? This move will favor you more. So you're looking at something like this, right? So you're going in for a sell, it gets to the support, you're going in for a buy, it gets to the resistance, you're going in for a sell, it gets to the support, you're going for a buy. So you most likely can scalp you most likely can scalp US 100 in this pattern, right? You most likely can scalp US 100 in this pattern. But if you're looking for a clear-cut direction on US 100, you most likely would want to wait for price to get a breakout from above this point. So you wouldn't want to trade in between this region, and most likely will be going for so depending on the news. So like I said, indices is actually going to range major part of the day until when the news comes out. So the major direction of indices will be as a result of what the news comes out as what the news comes out. So if you're going to be trading index and you're not looking at scalping it, if you're going to be trading indices and you're not looking at scalping it, you most likely will be playing the wait game. So you need to wait until there is a clear cut out direction. So you most likely, and if you're getting a clear cut out direction, because it's high impact news, you most likely will be getting longer candles, right? You most likely will be getting longer candles. So if it's coming against, if it's in favor of the dollar, of course, if the news comes out in favor of the dollar, you should see indices actually drop all the way to this support zone, right? If it comes out in favor of the dollar, you should see indices drop all the way to the support zone. So you want to go in for a sell if price breaks below 15026.91. You want to go in for a sell at around up at below that point, not around that point, below. Once price is able to go below that point, you could pick any sell entry. So this region here is a good entry for my sell. In as much as price starts trading in between this region, you can go in for a sell down to the next support at around 14881.83, right, at around that point. So this point is already my support zone. So of course, you'll be wise enough to put your take profit before that support point. You don't want to put your take profit on the support point. So just calculate few pips before that support point to ensure that price hits your support before getting to that rejection point. Yeah. So, and if it comes out negative, if it comes out negative for the dollar, then you should see stocks actually push up. And like I said, it's high impact news day, so definitely you should be getting longer candles and longer price movements, right? Longer candles and longer price movements. So I'd want to go in for a clear, and you could notice that aside this point where price is currently ranging, there's a next notable resistance at the top here. There's a next notable resistance at the top here. So you'd want to do yourself a good favor by going for your buy. If at all you're sticking out your neck for a buy on US 100, you want to stick your buy above this resistance point. So any price above 154.1 15141 15141 15141.03 15141.03. So any price above that point will be a good entry for your buy, right? Then you're taking it next down to the next notable resistance at around this point. So like I said, you're not taking your price on this region, any point above that point. So you could decide to take your buy above. Look at this, is my resistance point. Of course, it wouldn't make sense if you're taking your buy on your resistance. So any points you could decide to take few pips above that resistance point, right? I could decide to go in way above here and then take my profit below before the next resistance at around this point. But as much as price starts trading in between this region, right? Now as much as price starts trading in between this region, you can now key in for a buy. So you could use things like price alerts. You could use things like price alert. You could right click on your chart. If you're using your system, right click on your chart and use what we call price alert. Do I have that here? Where is my price alert? Okay, I think I have that on my MT4. Okay. Just hold on. Where do I have my price alert? Okay, so for MT4, you should have price alert. I don't know why MT5 is not. Okay, yeah, perfect. I found it. So for my price alert, you could just right click on the place at which you feel you want to enter. Right click on it, you come to trading, right? And then you have alert. So you could put your price alerts at around this point. So you get something like this. So what this does is, as soon as price gets to this particular point where you have your price alert, it gives you a notification that price has gotten to that point, right? It gives you a notification on your system that price has gotten to that point. Then you can now decide if you want to enter your buy entry at that particular point, then ride it all the way to your take profit. So best point, you use price alerts to notify you when price gets to those particular price level, right? That's for US 100. So let's also look at D30. We are expecting some news on Euro. Let's look at D30 too, since we are expecting news on Euro, right? So sorry, don't mind my messy chat. I do a whole lot of line analysis. So let's look at D30. So for D30 also, looking at it on a daily time frame, you could see that price actually just bounced off a resistance point. Price just bounced off a resistance point a few days ago, and it's currently hooked on this support. It's currently hooked on this support. So most likely our trading zone will be in between. From a daily time frame, you could already see that it's already pushing into a buy formation. You could actually see more of a buy trend, because you could get your hammer on your support and then a bullish confirmation candle, your hammer on your support and your bullish confirmation candle on your support zone here. So, and then today's candle will serve as a confirmation for a continuous buy, right? So if on a long term on D30, I'm most likely going to be sticking out my neck for a buy on a daily time frame. I'm most likely going to be sticking out my neck for a buy on a daily time frame. But let's look at it on a 1 hour time frame. Let's look at it on a 1 hour time frame. Same thing too on a 1 hour time frame. You could see there's been several rejections at the support here. Rejection 1, rejection 2, rejection 3, right? And price just broke above another notable resistance at around this point here. So price just broke above it. So I'm seeing more of a continuous push up on this particular instrument. So we have more of a triple bottom here. So rejection 1 on the 23rd, rejection 2 on the 20th, on the 26th, and another one again at around this point. So we have this, and 3 rejection at the bottom equals more of a reversal pattern pushing price up. So I'm most likely going to be sticking out my neck for a buy on D30, but I want to ensure that I'm not being caught so for those that are going to be scalping, you could you could go in for a quick one, right? So if you're going to be scalping on this instrument, look for more of a buy opportunities to scalp on this particular instrument. Scalp a buy, scalp instant buy, go in and out as fast as you can and as much as possible. Going for a buy as fast and as much as possible. So on a 15 minutes time frame, despite the fact that price is actually selling now, you could go in for a buy because this candle is actually still going to retrace up to the next resistance at around here. So if you're scalping, like I said, scalping for more of buy opportunities rather than sticking your neck for a sell, right? So you could go in for multiple instant buy and then closing out as soon as you get profit on them. This D30 is very volatile and very, very profitable. So no matter the lot size you're using, please use lot size in proportion to what you have in your account. That's a major problem. I see someone with a 50K account and you're using 0.010 on D30. That's just an avenue for you to cry. Yes, cry without cutting onion, right? It's just an avenue for you to cry without cutting onion. So please don't make that mistake. Use lot size in proportion to what you have in your account, right? Use lot size in proportion to what you have in your account. I wouldn't overemphasize that. Use lot size to what you have in proportion to what you have in your account so that you don't end up shedding tears in the toilet like some of my colleagues do in the office, right? So let's do this. So on a 1 hour time frame also, you most likely will be looking out for a buy down to this next resistance. Also, you could go in for an instant buy. You could decide to go in for an instant buy for my first entry, going for an instant buy and down to this down to this resistance point on D30, instant buy down to this resistance point at 16130.2, 16130.2, going for my instant buy to this. Then, of course, if price is able to now break this resistance, then you can now enter for a second entry. You could now go in for a second entry above these points down to this next resistance at around here. So if price, this is my first entry, buy from here to the next resistance. And then if price gets here, of course, you want to take out your profit and then going for your next buy if price is able to break above this resistance point down to this next point. So the next point, the next rejection point, the next notable rejection will be at 1628.1.5, 16281 rather, 16281.5. So if price is able to get around here, so you definitely would want to cut out your second entry and you're out of the market for the day with good profit, right? With good profit, right? So we're going to be looking at we've looked at US 100, we've looked at D30 and a good number of currency pair. Let's look at gold and we'll call it a day. We'll call it a day. The same analysis I applied on US 100, you could actually look at other US indices and try your hands out in the market. Try and do some analysis yourself because I think pointers on US 100 should give you a good clarity on what you should be expecting on other indices, right? Pointers on what I've given you on US 100 should give you a good clarity on what you should be expecting, right? So for gold now, gold is actually very, very dicey because, gold is a reactive instrument to the dollar. And currently, gold has formed a double bottom, right? It's most likely a double bottom, but it has not been completely rejected. So would I say it's a double bottom? Most likely it's okay. Let's say gold is trying to form a double bottom. Let me phrase it like that. So gold is trying to form a double bottom whereby it's getting rejected for a second time, right? This is rejection 1 and okay, this is rejection, the second notable rejection, right? So it's trying to form a double bottom. And if this is successful, you should get a reversal naturally, right? Looking at technical analysis. But We have fundamental analysis coming out today. We have fundamental news coming out today. So I most likely will not be relying on my technical analysis alone, because I expect that if price comes out in favor, or if the news comes out in favor of the dollar, man, there is every possibility gold will tear below this support, right? There's every possibility gold will tear below the support. But if you want to go in for a quick run on gold, you could go in for a quick buy, because now you could see your long leg doji and it's trying to form your bullish confirmation candle. So most likely price would want to do a little retracement down to this point. So if you are a scalper, you'd want to scalp this little opportunity. It's small, but it's in very good lot size. It's small, but it's something if you're using a very good lot size. This is roughly about 45. I mean, 45 people on gold is not small. Oh. I stand corrected. 45 people on gold is not small. So if you are a scalper, you'd want to scalp this little buy position, depending on when the fundamental on the dollar starts playing out. But ensure that you are out of the market before the fundamental, so that you're not caught on the wrong side of the trade. So looking at it technically, I'd want to go in for a buy, looking at the fact that price has actually formed a long leg doji, and then trying to give my confirmation candle. So I'll be scalping my buy if my current candle closes bullish. Please be informed. I'll be scalping a buy if my current candle closes bullish, because now I've seen my long leg doji on a support. I need to get a confirmation, right? A lot of traders just see dojis and then they jump in. Please always wait for a confirmation candle. It's very paramount to wait for a confirmation candle. So for those that don't know what a long leg doji is, this is what a long leg doji is. This candle that formed before the current one is forming now, right? So this is a long leg doji, right? You have a long at the top and at the bottom, a long shadow at the top and a long shadow at the bottom, right? My long leg doji at a support zone. This is a very, very good support zone. So I'm expecting now a confirmation candle. Once I get my confirmation candle for a buy, right? Once I get a bullish candle, which is my confirmation candle, I can now start scalping my buy, right? But if this candle doesn't give me my confirmation for a buy, please stay out of that buy trade. You get, please stay out of that buy trade, because if you don't get a confirmation candle, most likely what you'll be getting is a continuity, right? You just get market continuity. Market will just continue pushing down. And with the fact that we have positive sentiment around the news coming out around on the dollar, you most likely will be seeing gold actually push down in the long run. So this trade is just for scalpers that want to just take quick opportunity in the market before the news comes out, right? So for a long-term entry, of course, I want to go in for a buy. If price, I want to go in for a sell for a long term, like intraday now, I want to go in for a sell rather if price is able to break below my support, right? So that support is around 1908.72. I want to go in for a sell below that point, right? I want to go in for a sell below that point, and then I take my profit at the next notable support. So the next notable support is not seen on a 1 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame, no, you still cannot find it on a 4 hour time frame. So I'd go all the way down to a daily time frame to get my next notable support. Go down to get my next notable support on a daily time frame. So I found my next notable support on a daily time frame. So going back to a 1 hour time frame, I should get good entry to that will serve as my next support. So my next support will be at price level 1897.58. 1897.58. So I'd want to go in for a sell if price breaks below 1908.72, take my profit before the next support at 1897.58. So that's all the instruments we'll be treating for today. And I hope we all make profit for our rams and everything. And for our Muslim friends, right? Please, when you're coming to the training on Friday, please ensure you come with foil paper of a lot of ram. It's been long since I ate Muslim ram. You know, there is a way this Salah ram tastes. It hits different from the regular ram you buy in the market, right? It tastes different. That's a different taste. And I would like to, don't deprive me of that taste. I won't be happy with you, right? The market will not be happy with you. D30 will not be happy with you if you deprive us of eating ram this Salah. I'm telling you from a place of pain in my heart, because I just checked my contact list and I discovered I need to work on my Muslim friends. I don't know what they are doing with their life, but I need to work on them. They need to give me RAM, right? So do have a wonderful day. It was nice hosting you guys, and I look forward to hosting you some other time. And do have a wonderful day.